way. And then the question becomes whether the Bible is true or not. And so that's where the conversation would go from there. From there, though, I think it's difficult, but I think that one can discuss that topic on an apologetic level, from a philosophical level, comparing sacred texts between religions. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is to address the implications of the worldview of different sacred texts and see which one best leads to human flourishing, and then to identify how has that played out in human history, and even more importantly, how you as a Christian friend or coworker conduct yourself with him. I think it's probably even more or just as important. That's kind of where I would go from there. Yeah, because if you go that way, I don't want to say too much per se, but I think there's enough to kind of work with. You start tracing what I just said to its detail, we realize that the history of Christianity has had its ups and downs, but by and large, it has brought good, though it has been abused a lot, but it has brought good. And one of the most evident, obvious reasons or things that we see in that, like I mentioned before, is the immigration wave direction. It's towards Western countries, not away from them. And the question is why? Well, it's kind of obvious because people vote with their feet. They will only want to raise their own families and children in places that they feel are valuable. Now, value can come in different factors, but economic prosperity, civil stability, various freedoms, free of persecution, or ideology, or religion, or speech, level of egalitarianism or equality for those that in human history have been looked down upon based on a certain group identity, whether it's a woman, a child, someone in the LGBTQ community, an ethnic minority, someone who is physically or mentally disabled. So why are people generally moving towards the West? They would go back to Asia for business purposes, but where do they raise their family? You would look at the stats on immigration waves towards the West. And I always have to add, it is not because of the Caucasianness or the whiteness of the West. It is because if you trace, it's just, yeah, why the money? Why the money? Okay.
I said, how about money? But
well, it is money too. It is money too. It is money. Sorry, let me finish my thought. Well, it is the money too, because people have recognized that even the concept of the free market and the diligence in productivity came from Christianity, specifically speaking, Calvinism. People have done studies on that regarding that. I think it's pretty persuasive. And not to mention the Industrial Revolution happened in the Western countries first, and later countries actually caught up. So you kind of look at all these things, and I guess what my only summary before you ask or give your comment is that the good things that we see in Western countries is not primarily because of them being white. It's not at all because they're white. That's not at all. And it's not because of merely the political system, but it is a fundamental ideology or worldview founded on biblical Christianity.